Jurassic World.
Question. How do we call? He gave us a signal.
What up, Camp Fam and my fellow Jurassic Park Rangers? We are live once again from the Batcave with your host Trey of the Bat Channel. But as always, we have to bring in our lovely co-host today. There's unfortunately no Super Bro Corey today. He's busy. He's having a little fun up in Cheyenne. But you know, when we come in hot with our Jurassic Park and our Jurassic World content, we're gonna bring in a fun special guest as always, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Wonder Wife herself.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
What up, Camp Fam?
Hey, honey, how's it going?
It's good. How's it going over there?
It's going great. I'm excited to talk with you, as you already know, because we live together.
We cohabitate.
Exactly, right? Like it's always wonderful that I get to share my crazy dinosaur passion with you, and that you're somewhat as nutty as I am when it comes to dinosaurs. But obviously, Jurassic World Dominion came out recently, which was a great epic conclusion to the trilogy, really, of Jurassic World. I'm hoping it's not the end of the franchise. But we also, to give us some extra Jurassic Park love, we were also able to have Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, unfortunately, the final season as well for that. So a lot of finals for Jurassic World's franchise. Honey, overall, how do you feel about the whole Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous show in general?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I'm sad now that we've watched the final season of the whole series, but I think I would definitely recommend watching it. I think it was done very well. They didn't really leave anything unexplained, and they actually brought in a lot of stuff from the movies, which I thought was cool.
I agree. I think they had a good plan in place from the beginning, and that's the nice things. You can always tell, like, when certain franchises, like with their new installments, like maybe they don't have quite the plan in place. Like obviously people are probably like, Trey, you're talking about Star Wars. Yes, I am. With the new trilogy, there wasn't really a plan in place, and it suffered the story overall. But Jurassic World seemed to have a clear vision, and I think part of that goes to with Colin Trevorrow really taking a leadership role in the writing chair and the director's chair. And even with Camp Cretaceous, he had a hand in that, even though it was a different team with DreamWorks Animation and Netflix. He was still involved in kind of helping out, letting them know where his vision was for the future film. So I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. But Sarah, we have some fun people in the chat today, already kind of going wild.
We
got
do.
our boy Trevor H. Hey, yo, TBC. What's up, my man? Kara Zorel, welcome. I don't know if you've been here before, Kara, but if you haven't, welcome. It's great to see new people. And if you have, I'm so sorry that I don't recall you, but it just means you got to show up more. You know, you gotta hang around so I can recall faces and names. But it's great to see you, Cara. Hope all is well. We got my man Bat Fanatic saying, "Hey guys, what's up, Bat?" It's always good to see you. My man, Restored Snipers. He never disappoints, my man. It's good to see you. We got Batwoman in the house. What's up, Batwoman? Good afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it? I'm so used to doing morning shows on the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon to you. Hope all is well. Hope you're having a good weekend. Unfortunately, it's Sunday and it's work tomorrow, but hey, we're having fun with you guys today. We got Oracle's Clock Tower. It's good to see Oracle. And we also got the Butler. What's up, Butler? Good to see you, bud. It's probably late for you. I think you're in the UK, aren't you? It's good to see you, Butler. And Retro Nerd Girl. Always love Retro Nerd Girl showing up. She's amazing. Guys, if you have not checked out Retro Nerd Girl's channel, you need to. It's phenomenal. I keep saying it. I can't say enough great things about Retro Nerd Girl. You just need to hang out with her. She's awesome. And let's see. I think I saw a few more people. Let's see. Oh, even Super Bro Corey. Corey, you're supposed to be having fun today. Like, no working today. Or I mean, if you want to hang out in the chat, you can. But then I expect you on the show. I'm just kidding. Hope all's well, bud. Hope you had a good time at the concert last night with mom and dad. It's good stuff. My man Ryan Swayze up in the house. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you. And last but certainly not least, the Nicotina show. Guys, Nicotina came out with a super cool trailer to Project Justice League 2. Oh man, it looks fire. And it's, catching a lot of eyes like Zack Snyder. He's seeing the project. I mean, the first one was already amazing. They raised over $1,500 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is amazing already. Congratulations on that, guys. I have a feeling this part 2 of your Project Justice League is going to be even cooler. So if you haven't checked out Nicotina's show, please do so. It is fire. Great stuff. It's good to see all of you guys. Oh, it is first time for Kara. Kara, welcome. Glad to see you here. Curious, out of curiosity, let us know, like, where did you find us? Did you see us on like a Facebook page or posting on Twitter or something? Like, I'm always kind of curious to see like where I'm posting, like which people are catching it and stuff like that. So I appreciate you being here for the first time. That's awesome. So, honey, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous. Oh man, season 5 came out July 21st. Season 4 kind of left us on a bit of a cliffhanger. We kind of knew it was coming at some point. They left a lot of Easter eggs throughout season 3, of where we were going to go in season 4, that we kind of knew something was going to happen eventually. What did you think about the season 4 cliffhanger with, I'm assuming because you guys are here for season 5, you've already seen season 4 at least. So if you haven't seen any of Camp Cretaceous, this is kind of your warning at the moment. We're going to start off just so no one freaks out. If you haven't watched season 5, we're going to start off with a non-spoiler review just to kind of say, hey, was it worth watching? Did it satisfy the character arcs and all that stuff? Is it worth watching? We'll answer that. And then we'll do a spoiler review. So Sarah and I don't have to tiptoe around too much. We're trying to
yeah, we all know how I do with spoilers,
right? Yeah, I know. Sarah's tried so hard during our Jurassic World Dominion non-spoiler review. She was like, yeah, but what you
hypothetically.
So honey, tell us, like, season 4, the ending, what did you think of that? Like, where did you think it was going to go into season 5 before we actually get there?
So I thought, I think we had, theorized a little bit after that last episode. I feel like yours was correct. I don't think I had another theory that I don't think was right, but I think we kind of agreed that what your theory was correct for the beginning and who that person was in the next season. But I also feel like what they did with the technology was headed in the direction that we thought.
Okay. Do you feel like season 4, with, obviously, you said you had a certain theory that you thought was going to lead up into season 5. What was that theory, out of curiosity?
Oh, I thought the person that was kind of there towards the end was somebody different. I don't remember off the top of my head now, but I thought, obviously the kids are going to make it out. They always do. We got to have our hero group. But I definitely thought Cash's character was going to be in the show a little bit, but what happened to his character was definitely justice, I think.
Oh yeah, it was his character was definitely very hated in season 4, and
Yes.
rightfully so. His character was just kind of, it's just so horrible, just a terrible. I mean, when I say terrible villain, I don't mean that he was a bad villain in the sense that, oh, I just didn't like his how he did his character. No, like he was a great villain, but he was so maddening for how terrible he was and just like awful he was to the dinosaurs that you were just like, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait for something to happen to him if it was going to happen, or some
I'm
way
pretty
that
sure when that thing finally happened, both of us were like, yes!
Yeah. Oh man, I see even Mr. Orc and Beans in the house. Orc and Beans, guys, congratulations to Orc and Beans for finally getting to the affiliate level on Twitch. If you have not followed Mr. Orc and Beans 14 on Twitch, you need to. He's one of my favorite gamers on Twitch. He's killing it over there. He's playing this new game that has been really fun to watch, and I just appreciate it. But Orc and Beans, I may have to talk to you about a new game I just recently downloaded that you and I might have to we might have to play sometime. It's called Path of the Titans. It's a dinosaur game, open world dinosaur game that I've been having fun with lately. So we'll have to check that out together. But guys, seriously, if you have not subscribed to Orc and Beans, you need to. He's my man. He says hello, everyone. So he's hello there, Orc and Beans. Yeah, I mean, it was very, very, very. His character was just awful. Needless to say, in season 4. Let's see. I heard someone ask, "Do I hear dinosaur noises?" You do, Batwoman. I have created an audio track using Jurassic Park ambiance sounds of Brachiosaurus sounds. So I figured, let's get us in the mood. Let's get into the jungle. But let's not get scary into the jungle. Let's just go with my favorite dinosaur, the Brachiosaurus, So, you already know. Okay, so honey, as always, we like to say, please follow us if you haven't already on our social media pages with Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We now have a TikTok doing some fun stuff over there. We did a recent Snyderbots video based off the Rolling Stones article, and I think it was nice. But you can follow us at _Bat channel over on those 3 pages. And unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough on the Facebook. Someone already had the Bat channel one. So Holy Bat channel it is, with a little bit of the Robin from the 60s kind of play off of words there. So follow us there. It's a great time. And if you haven't already, folks, smash that like, share this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I can't tell you how important it is to hit the notification bell because people like Retro Nerd, Nicotina, Orc and Beans, and all my other favorite YouTubers, I've been missing their shows lately. And I was like starting to go like, what's going on? Why am I not in the know? It's because I didn't hit the notification bell on their channels. So when you do that, you're going to get little pop-ups that say, hey, the Bat Channel's doing a show today. So you don't miss us because you don't want to miss it because otherwise you get left behind and no one likes getting left behind. We'll be gladly to help you get back up and into the times again, but it's always good to hit that notification bell if you really like a YouTuber. But yes, hit that subscriber close to 1,500. Almost there, my friends. And as always, if you feel like supporting us just a little extra, the money goes right back into the show with super chats. We do have little Jurassic Park video clips that I've made for everyone. So that way you can really have fun and just our way of saying thank you for supporting us and telling us that you really enjoy our show because it really just goes back into making our production even better cameras, better audio, better lighting, all that fun stuff, and it makes it worthwhile for Wonder Wife, to know when I'm spending most of my time doing YouTube that it's going to a good cause.
Yep. Spending time with YouTube and not with your wife.
Exactly. But okay, so here we go with our Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the final season 5, no spoilers review real quick. So honey, as we kind of mentioned with season 4, the ending with Kenji's dad appearing, we knew this was going to create a level of tension because he's the man behind the curtain. He is Manticore. He's running it. And we know from previous seasons that Kenji's dad and their relationship together is a bit strained. Like he pretty much kicked him out. We know that he locked up the mansion, on the island. So that way he couldn't get into it to the penthouse until they were able to break it at some point. But we knew that tension was going in. Do you feel like with how that tension played out into the story, do you feel like it was natural? Do you feel like they just had to find a way to create some form of conflict, or did everything feel pretty smooth story-wise?
Everything felt pretty smooth story-wise. I will say through the season, I felt like some things were rushed towards the end.
Okay, I'm
like
curious.
It all came to an end a little faster than I would have liked it to.
Okay. That's interesting that you say that. I'm curious to see if we're kind of in the same similar boat on some of that, because part of me was thinking it's a kid's show, so I'll dive in deeper into that with when we go into our spoiler review, but like there were some things I think, yeah, it went fast, but at the same time, it's a kid's show. Kids don't really need that extra drama and discipline,
Right.
to the story to really create some form of conflict or extreme intelligent dialogue, because they're not going to understand it anyways. But with all the dinosaurs that were in this one, we didn't get a ton of new dinosaurs, but we got some. What did you think about the amount of dinosaurs they had in this final season?
I think it was great. I mean, I could always do with more dinosaurs, but I don't think they had less. There wasn't a lack of dinosaurs in this last season.
Yeah, true. And they have quite a bit of action sequences with all those dinosaurs, which was great.
I do like they made a lot of the last season about the dinosaurs more than anything else.
I completely agree with this, Organ Beans. Let's get a Wonder Wife and Rachel podcast so Trey and I can just make content. That'd be wonderful. And then they can stop bugging us about why are you hanging out? Why aren't you making dinner? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Joking, kind of. With all the characters, each character, and I feel like maybe you'll agree with this too. Do you feel like each character really got their time in the spotlight and really got a story arc that was satisfying, and it really did any surprise you? We'll just go with all the characters. Did any surprise you? Were there smooth transitions in their story arcs?
There were definitely smooth transitions. I think all of them had smooth transitions in their story arc. The one, without spoiling anything, there was one conflict that I felt like I would have been more on her side if she had not broken down so easily.
Interesting.
But we'll go more into that when we can do the spoiler review.
Absolutely. And then in terms of, do you feel like there was enough story because obviously it's Jurassic World and it's fitting in the timeline of Fallen Kingdom between Dominion. Do you feel like there was enough connections there, or do you feel like it's so separate from what's going on in the Jurassic World live action world that it doesn't really play a part?
No, I definitely think there's a connection. I mean, they did little Easter eggs and story connections through the TV show that they did with the movies to connect them to the movies. And I'm really hoping that, if this isn't the end of the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, storylines, that maybe the next set of movies will pick up where the show left off.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think they could do a lot with that.
Oh, totally. There was definitely, I feel like they wrapped up everything nicely with all the characters, and it was very much still connected to what's going on in the Jurassic World franchise, the live action franchise, in the films and stuff like that. But do I feel like there could have been more? Absolutely. But I think you can always say that. I don't know if there would ever be a satisfaction unless if they actually threw in where they're involving the other story and they're intertwining with it. I think though, for them to kind of continue to do their own thing while being a part of the world of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, I think they did a great job. I think overall, all the character arcs were wonderful. The amount of dinosaur action that we got was really cool. Some intense scenes, some sad scenes, some happy scenes, some really beautiful, lovely scenes and tearjerker moments, and some cheer moments for sure. I feel like this season was definitely an improvement off of season 4. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think this last season was an improvement from season 4. I definitely had a lot of tear-jerking moments during that last episode.
Do you feel with season 4? Season 4 seemed to be like a very controversial season with the Brads and the robots and stuff like that, kind of
Right.
really going science fiction with Jurassic Park. But I mean, in a sense, Jurassic World is already very science fiction-y. The fact that we're bringing back dinosaurs, I mean, that's looking to be more science fact than science fiction. But in that time when Jurassic Park came out, that was very science fiction-y. Do you feel, after all that controversy with season 4, do you feel like they tried to kind of like with what they did with the Rise of Skywalker episode 9 really felt like they were trying to fix the issues that The Last Jedi created? Do you feel like they were trying to fix issues that they created in season 4, or did they kind of just accept it and continue on their story and kind of said, this is us, this is what Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous is?
No, I don't think I didn't get the sense that they were trying to fix anything from the last season. I think that they were just rolling with it and they just enhanced it and made it better. Like, I think season 4 was almost like a lead up explaining, like backstorying what would happen in season 5.
Huh. As Trevor H says, Kenji's dad was a dick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
That woman
I hated
agrees.
him from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's an interesting character for sure. Oracle's Clock Tower says there were some great Easter eggs. There were, and we'll definitely get into a few that I caught. And if you guys caught any, definitely let us know as we get to that portion. But Kara says the feels. Oh yeah, there was. I won't lie, I cried. A cartoon show made me cry, man. A couple of times, I got emotional. I got choked up. Which just I think goes to show. Yeah, it's beautiful, really good storytelling overall, and I really appreciate what they did. Oracle's Clock Tower also says, I don't think they backpedaled at all. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think they did either. Like, I was worried that because people had such a negative reactions to the Brads that they were going to try to like really get away from it, but they accepted it. They kept them apart. While they took a backseat in terms of importance, they were still very much prominent throughout the storyline. Super Bro Corey, being an older brother that he is, says you wimp. And haha, just kidding. No, you're not. Accept it. Just take it. Just agree with it, Corey. Okay, so honey, as we come to the end of our non-spoiler review of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 5, did you like it? Was it a great conclusion? Was it a good conclusion to the entire series? Or do you feel like, no, like kind of how I feel about Game of Thrones with the final season? I would tell anyone who was about to watch Game of Thrones, like, not worth it because the final season was trash.
Well, I mean, I would probably agree. Not totally agree with you with Game of Thrones. I did enjoy the entire season, but you're right. The last season was trash. But not this season. I think for season 5 for Jurassic World, I think definitely makes it all worth it in the end. I mean, the whole show is just done well, and I think they did a really good job. And I loved watching it. And so I think the only thing that stopped us from binge watching this whole last season was time. We ran out of time, so we had to break it out into 2 days.
we had a vacation that kind of intertwined on the same time that Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous came out. And to be honest with you, I was very bummed about that.
I'm sure you were. I'm surprised you didn't want to sit down and watch it. Like when we go to bed, watch an episode before bed.
I was going to, but like I really wanted to like sit down and enjoy it and also kind of binge it so I could like just watch it as like a movie or something.
Well, and the dinosaur sounds are just boss on our speaker system.
True. Yeah. As Trevor H is calling Super Bro Corey crazy. I know he's kind of rude, isn't he? Trevor H says House of Dragons looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I won't deny House of Dragons for Game of Thrones has my interest peaked, but I've told Wonder Wife many times, I was like, because of that final season, I don't know if I care enough.
There's somebody who's acting in the House of Dragons that you said, oh, they might get me with just that one actor. I don't remember who it was.
Who was the actor? I can't recall either. But Oracle agrees with you, Sarah. She likes your takes on Jurassic World. And a new person. What's up, the Rexy Rex? That's a great name. Loving the profile pic too. Hi, hope you're doing well, Rexy Rex. Like you said, wonderful profile, wonderful name, man. It's good to have you here. If you haven't watched Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 5, I think both Sarah and I are saying like, yeah, it was totally worth watching. And if you haven't watched any of Jurassic World Camp Camp Cretaceous, which sorry that we spoiled a few things for you with the previous seasons. Do it anyways, because if you're a fan of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise, it was worth it. It felt great in the universe, and it did clear up some plot holes that some of the movies couldn't get to because they're trying to keep in that 2.5 hour runtime. But definitely some good stuff there. But honey, are you ready to take off the gloves? Now we're going to do our spoiler review. No handcuffs. I'm trying to watch what we're saying.
No, I'm ready. I mean, I don't like having gloves on in the first place.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with our season 5 Camp Cretaceous Jurassic World spoiler review. You have been warned.
It's not just a signal. It's a warning.
Okay, so now we have our Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous season 5 spoiler review coming up. Man, oh man. Lovely. So the beginning, they just start you off right where season 4 left, which I'm glad they did. And you kind of knew they were going to do that because, I mean,
that
if they
massive cliffhanger. I mean, how could you not start from there?
Oh, totally. Right. How do you find, after rewatching it, because I've now seen it twice, the entire 5th season, after rewatching it, the beginning is so fascinating for how Kenji's dad handles finding Kenji or seeing him for the first time since the fall of Jurassic World. What was your reaction to Kenji's dad being like, oh my God, you're alive, and like giving him a hug? Like it seems like he actually cared.
I think it was very forced. Like his emotion was forced just because like going back and having watched it again, or you watched it again, but like having seen the whole season and how much of a dick he is. Yeah. He like, it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, you're so happy to see your son. Then why haven't you been looking for him this whole time? And you have so many resources at your fingertips. Yeah. Why did it take you so long to do this? Was it all just about business first? And
yeah, that's a
which you come to find out later that it all is business.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. And I think, that's kind of the beauty of like, well, as adults, sometimes what Kenji did throughout this season was kind of maddening. It like really kind of like, come on, bro. Like clearly he's manipulating you.
Oh yeah. Like Kenji's dad is a master manipulator.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of the, if you look at the entire story arc, and if you forget what happens in the previous seasons, Kenji is very much trying to win his father's approval. Like he can just never win with his dad. So this is really the first time that he's probably seen affection from his father. So it's kind of like, you see in his reaction, he's very shocked. Right. Like, oh my God, like my dad like cares that I'm alive. And I think immediately he just like kind of forgives any type of doubt that he has of like, why didn't my dad come to find me? Like he has all these resources, right? Like why didn't he just even think to like give me a call and say like, hey, did you make it off the island? There was none of that. And it was very kind of, you can already tell how this scene's going to go. And what was wonderful about it was if you didn't know the type of person Kenji's dad was, they explained him in 5 minutes, even less. Oh, yeah. With Cash, obviously Cash being the punk that he is, he's like, bro, like these kids have been
one of those faces that you just want to punch in the face.
He does. Cash does have one of those faces that you just want to punch and just, and he's just, oh God, he's a great villain. But I just hate him so much, and which makes him a great villain.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's like, bro, seriously, like these kids have made my life a living hell these last few days. Like I'm gonna kill him with the Brads. Which just goes to show just how crazy of an insane man that Cash is. But I love that, obviously Kenji's dad is like, bro, like this is my son. This is not happening. And I love that he tries to play it off like by acting like, oh, I didn't know Cash was doing all these crazy, illegal, insane things. But clearly he was like allowing it to happen. He's just trying to put up a
absolutely.
good front.
He was completely aware the whole time. And I think if Kenji wasn't there, he would have totally let Cash kill all the kids.
Right. Yeah, totally. But I love that when Kenji's dad is not like, I'm gonna allow this to happen. I'm gonna let Cash do his thing here. And he has, created a safe system that in case if Cash ever tried to betray him, that he could take control of all the Brads. Like what a great scene, especially that like, okay, like you thought Cash was bad. Here's Kenji's dad, who's like, oh, like you made a bad move, Cash. Like I'm gonna take you out, bro.
Right, he's smart and a dick.
Yes, yeah, very, very true. As Super Bro Corey says here, guys, make sure you're hitting that like, smashing that subscribe button if you haven't already. We coming in with more great Jurassic World content and just more great content in general with entertainment. We're going to be this whole next week. We're going to be gearing up for the new Prey Predator film that's coming out on Hulu. So we're going to be doing some watch parties. We're going to do a review on Prey and a Prey watch party. It's going to be a good time if you're into some sci-fi stuff. So definitely set your reminders for that if you haven't already. Sarah, obviously it's kind of an intense moment, kind of crazy, a lot going on. It's pretty much chaos. But obviously Kenji's dad's like, hey, I'm going to have to clean up some of the mess that Cash is in here, but let's talk. The kids, obviously he's like, tells Kenji like, hey, like you're going to have like your own bed, like go take care of yourselves, clean up. You know, you look terrible. Probably, haven't had a shower in forever. They probably
all stink.
Right? Yeah, there was a scene that really got me. It choked me up because here finally, after it's probably been about a year, maybe just over a year since these kids were left on Isla Nublar, basically after the fall of Jurassic World. There's this moment where the kids are like, finally, they have their own space, they have their own room to kind of relax, and like it's luxurious. But that night, none of them can sleep. They all choose to be the camp fam that they are and stay in the same room. What did you think of that scene after the journey that we've seen them from the first episode when they were strangers and really they didn't want anything to do with each other?
I think, it just shows how far they've come with becoming that camp family. It's just so it's so touching to see that none of them can sleep alone anymore. Well, not only that, they're still on the dinosaur island, so they're all probably freaking out if they're sleeping by themselves. But I think it's just they feel safe when they're together. So it just sees how far they've come from the individual kids that showed up for camp that wanted nothing to do with each other to now they just have to be together all the time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think that was part of the beauty of what you said. It really just shows how far they have come. That and it was very moving because you would think that these kids were like, yeah, we're ready to kind of have our own space for a little bit, and the fact that they still they just couldn't do it. They needed to be together, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, was very moving to me as a viewer. And their whole friendship was just so beautiful throughout this entire season. But obviously I feel like in a way it was a great moment to show how together they are by showing how easily Kenji's dad is going to try to pick them apart, and pull at their weaknesses and kind of drive them against each other in a way.
Right.
Because not very long after, when Kenji's trying to tell his dad, hey, this is everything that's been happening with me, Kenji's dad is not even paying attention. He's not even focusing.
Right. He's so disinterested in his own kid.
Yeah. Very much just oh, what are you saying? No, man, I'm taking care of things. Cash left such a mess. But he's in prison now. He can't hurt you guys no more.
Right.
But I love one thing that also really showed within this first episode is how fast he's able to think on his feet to kind of manipulate and trick these kids into thinking. And in a way, while constantly thinking of them as children, he kind of underestimates them very much in a way where they're not just any type of kids. These are kids who survived on their own without adult supervision in a land, in an island surrounded by wild dinosaurs,
Right.
So what did you think about, obviously Kenji's dad kind of says, hey, I'm glad you guys are here, but I can't quite call anyone yet. And he's obviously trying to play this manipulation game. But as we see with our lovely Camp Cretaceous family, they're not quick to trust anyone, even if it is Kenji's dad.
Right.
What do you think that says about the entire group?
I mean, I think that definitely they all trust each other, but they're all very wary of other people, which I think is good. I mean, like you can see from the very beginning that Brooklyn just sees right through Kenji's dad.
Yeah. The Rexy Rex says here, I genuinely thought Kenji's dad was good. And that's a great thing about season 5. It's good at unexpecting. Yeah. And that's what, now watching through this, the first time we watched the show, I was kind of like that first initial moment that Kenji has with his dad when he finds out Kenji's alive. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Like he cares. And like, but it still left a question in my mind of, why hasn't he been looking for him this entire time if he has all this wonderful resources? But slowly you start to see how he's very manipulating and he's just very in it for himself,
he's selfish and narcissistic.
Yeah. But I do wonder at times, like what if scenarios, if Kenji happened to go through and be the good, con that, Kenji's, father always says, live up to your name, basically. What would have happened if Kenji went through all the things that his dad was trying to push him to be, if he would still earn the respect that his dad, and based off the few things that happened, I don't think so, even for as much as Kenji's changed, because I think you would say, Sarah, even probably one of the characters of the team with, taking out Ben as the option, because I think Ben is probably the one that has had tremendous
grown
growth
the most. Oh yeah.
But Kenji, I would probably put him right there with Ben, that says like, yeah, Kenji has grown a lot from the person we knew he was as, the rich spoiled kid in episode 1.
The rich kid in the group, and now he's more of the like, I don't care about the money, I just care about my family, my camp family.
Yeah, absolutely. And also kind of in the way that we've seen throughout the whole Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise, the people with money and who are running these companies like Engine, Biosyn, they really don't care about the dinosaurs, but they care about the money, that the dollar value that they have on them. Right. And it's kind of the similar thing here where Kenji's dad's like, yeah, we're going to continue to have these dinosaurs fight because I own this company. I need to show that it runs a profit now. Like, you understand that, son. This is for our future. This is for the future of our business that you're one day going to run. Right. So this money's tied to you. But Kenji, probably as he kind of was in the first season, was like, yeah, let's just go see the dinosaurs. Like, whatever. And dinosaurs aren't a big deal to him because he's seen them so many times. Here he is now going like, Dad, I don't think that's right. Like dinosaurs shouldn't fight. There's so much more to him. Darius has kind of rubbed off on Kenji quite a bit over the year. Which
definitely
is really nice to see. Sarah, as the team tries to like figure out what's really the motives behind Kenji's dad, obviously Brooklyn and Sammy go to investigate because obviously a question that's been on our minds is what's happened to Sammy's farm since she's been gone. Has Cash, kept to their word and taking care of their family? Because Cash doesn't seem like the guy to do that, and Cash is not a good person. So
no.
She learns the truth of what Kenji's father has been able to do with her family. Do you think he actually did those things he said, or was he manipulating her still?
I think he used some different specific verbiage so that it made her feel better. And the part that I hate at the end too, when he was like, we're just going to keep this our secret. At that exact moment is when I knew, I'm like, he's totally going to use this against them to like try to separate Kenji from the group. Because as soon as, you hear an adult say, this is just our secret, they've got a sinister motive behind that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Especially when he's just like, let's not tell Kenji because he'll be disappointed in you.
Yeah.
And that was probably the one moment where I was a little disappointed in Brooklyn because, obviously she's just starting this relationship with Kenji.
Yeah.
And I understand the fear of not wanting to mess it up, but like the fact that she didn't think he would understand. already from the get-go, to be like, hey, like, we needed to know what happened to Sammy. Like, your father basically said we couldn't even call our parents to let them know we're still alive. Like, that seems weird. So it was kind of interesting to see, like, already there was some distrust there. And I think because they were really tiptoeing around the idea, like, this is his dad, like, no one wants
like,
to
we don't want him to be the bad guy because it's Kenji's dad, but we can all see, like, red flags.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Zachary? It's good to see you, man. Hey, Trey, this is Zach. My Together Google account got hacked. So that sucks, dude. It's a lot of weird stuff going on. Well, hopefully you got that all taken care of in life. It's been treating you well. It's good to see you, Zach. Hope all has been good, man. Where were you at? So obviously, Kenji, new love relationship. There was a lot of romance throughout this entire episode. Well, not episode, but entire show.
But
right. One that was obviously Kenji and Brooklyn are together. And throughout the show, the other relationship that kind of caused controversy, we'll call it, was Sammy and not Maze. Yaz, thank you. Sorry, I was thinking Maze from another
Lucifer.
show. Yeah, but similar situation, though, right? We learned that they start to build a relationship together. Well, first off, I guess I should ask Sarah, do you think, for those who were complaining, that says like, oh, this was like, clearly you're trying to push an agenda here, did you feel that way at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, from the very beginning of the show, Sammy tried to break Yaz out of her shell, and that's kind of how everything starts with a relationship anyway, whether it was going to be a friendship or more than that. And I think when they finally did get together, I was happy, because it's, one of those beautiful things that two people find each other and have gone through so many trials, especially on an island full of dinosaurs. They just get closer.
I agree. To me, it was, I don't understand, like, if it felt forced, I would have had an issue with it. If they were trying to push an agenda, I would have had an issue, because I would always prefer good story than pushing agendas.
Right.
To me, this didn't feel that way. It felt very natural that Sammy and Yaz were, they either, like, if they kept them great friends, I would have said that was natural for them too. If they made them a love relationship, it felt natural enough to me that, that would make sense, that maybe one of them could fall for the other. And I think they played it off very, very well. I mean, the fact that she's struggling with, Yaz is kind of like, I'm not sure, like, how to handle these feelings. And I loved that everyone was like so supportive of that entire thing. Like, oh no, just go for it. Just do it. And part of me was kind of worried, because like, when you kind of think about like, Sammy comes from like probably a country family, and like, farming and stuff like that. Like, maybe that's going to be like a weird concept to her, but it was just like their whole relationship was just very, very awesome. Like, natural. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought
natural.
It was very natural.
Yeah. Natural. And just like, it was just beautiful to like watch, and it just didn't seem forced to me. So I'm not sure. I would love to hear from those people who did feel like it was an agenda, like it was forced. I mean, if your thoughts are, well, maybe it's a kid's show, so that shouldn't even be. I mean, no one had an issue though, like when Kenji and Brooklyn were becoming a thing at a somewhat of a young age. So it's like, to me, it's like, it just seems natural, and I'm not sure exactly where people thought there was an agenda being pushed there. So yeah, that's my take on the whole Sammy and Yaz relationship. I didn't see an issue with it. It felt natural. There was clearly a strong connection to them throughout. Really, we saw it blossom, I think, in season 3 with the Scorpius Rex, and when Sammy got hurt, like we really saw Yaz kind of take that hard, and like was like, oh, like I can't let her die, and she was going out of her way, even with a hurt ankle, to make sure Sammy was okay. So to me, this felt very natural throughout, and I thought their whole little cute relationship,
Oh yeah, the little
so, honey?
the secret language. Oh yeah.
You're so cute. Let's see what the chat is saying here. Batwoman says, I didn't think it was forced. Okay. Oracle is also saying it seems natural. Eric Patterson's now here. It's good to see you, Eric. Hope all is well, sir. Says, hey guys, I'm late. I enjoyed this season of the show. Glad to hear it, dude. I really did too. I thought it was a good final season for sure. The Rexy Rex says another sort of relationship I like was the Kenji and Toro. Even though Toro was being controlled, it was really nice to see Kenji really bond with a dinosaur. I agree. You know, that was something I think some people overlooked with this season too. Like, obviously that character growth of like Kenji, right? Like dinosaurs are just like for his entertainment, for his, you know, for his pleasure. And here he was with Tauros, you know, the dinosaur that kind of was the villain between Darius and even Ben and Kenji, causing them a lot of issues. Like, it was nice to see him like really take really care for the dinosaur and the Carnotaurus, and to kind of see that he was not exactly okay with what his father was doing. It was definitely nice to see. I agree with that a lot, Rex. So yeah, Sarah, when it comes to basically the betrayal, we knew that, and I say betrayal, but it really, I don't know if it's fair to call it a betrayal because Kenji wasn't really betraying anyone. Like, he was just very much, you understand the situation he's in. He's trying to impress his dad. He's trying to,
right, like he's holding his dad up on this pedestal and he's trying to be the son his dad always wanted to be because he sees his dad is actually paying attention to him.
Exactly.
And seems to care.
Yeah. And his father very much knows that. Like I said, Kenji's dad, what made him such a great villain was he was very much aware of people's weaknesses. And probably some of that came from some of his prior knowledge with people like Sammy, that we'll kind of get into in a little bit. But obviously, Kenji being his son, he would know exactly how to push the buttons to get what he wants out of his son, which proves that he wasn't a great dad, you know? Right. And obviously at some point manipulating, basically in a way, manipulating his friends to do things that would look bad upon them for Kenji to come more over to his dad's side. And eventually, as we see, and I loved how they kind of metaphorically did this through clothing, where, you know, Kenji wasn't exactly in his shirt, you know, that he's been wearing this entire time. But when he kind of goes over to the dark side, in a sense, he puts on the suit like his dad. Which I kind of love how Jurassic World throughout, as we kind of talked about this earlier, money and like the, I don't know, the business elites, however you want it, the people who are just in it for the money in this entire franchise, they're always kind of perceived as these heartless people. And they very much kind of keep that tone where like, okay, here he is. He's in the business suit now. Like, he's no longer cares about the dinosaurs or his friends. He's on the bad side, I guess you could say, if you look at it in a very innocent way. What did you think, Sarah, about, I believe, Dr. May? I believe Dr. May Turner.
Oh yeah, May.
Yes, May. Okay. She was very much caught in the middle. She was healed after some time with, you know, after taking that attack from the velociraptors, and she was able to get medical attention. But now the big boss is in town, and he's you can tell she's afraid of him. You know, that he has a dark, twisted side that she's very much aware of, and she's kind of forced to go along with his plans. But you could tell she's trying to help the team out on the back end of things.
Right. She's almost acting as Kenji's conscience.
Yes, in a way. Yeah. Right. Like, she kind of is in a, I guess you could say, a spiritual sense, that she is kind of Kenji's conscience, like kind of trying to talk him through, like, hey, like, you know, this isn't okay. Like, just be yourself. You know, try to go against your father. And I love how she's such a great character in the sense of, like, obviously because of her technology, you know, we're able to talk to dinosaurs with that iPad thing that she has with the T-Rex that Darius uses throughout the season. But there's also, I love how she can kind of tell, like, in a way, Kenji's kind of in a bad, verbally abusive relationship with his father, that she almost tries to, like, cover for him. Like, can tell like the whole scene with Bumpy when Kenji was like, no, you can't use Bumpy for your dinosaur fighting. Like, we can't have that. Like, this is Ben's dinosaur. And you could tell he's very upset about it, that she's like, okay, how can I explain this in a way where Kenji's father's gonna be like, okay, like, I agree with that. It was very nice to see, and I loved her character throughout this show, even though she didn't play a major part of it. I think the moments she did play were very impactful. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I would totally agree with that.
I see my man Captain Rex in the house. What's up, Captain Rex? How's it going? Good, brother. I'm late. Can you repeat everything you just said? I did in 3 times speed. Was that okay?
Absolutely.
Do I need to slow it down?
Heard every word.
Cool. It's good to see you, Captain Rex. Hope you've been well, man. Hope you and the lady are doing good too. Super Bro Corey says, you heard Captain Rex. Trey, start over. Hey, whatever Captain Rex says goes, you know. The Rexy Rex says, the thing that works with Kenji wanting to please his dad is that it's not just Kenji doesn't want to do it. He gradually realizes more and more that what his dad and his dad's workers are wrong. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is a wonderful thing, is that I think he genuinely tries to be, well, in a way, Sarah, this is actually a great topic to kind of get into, and we kind of already touched on it, but like, what's really great about Kenji's character growth, especially in this season, is that you can tell he's now mature enough to actually try to be what his dad wants him to be. You know, because before, I don't think he cared. I think he was like, I'm rich, I'm spoiled. Like, what does it matter? The money's going to be there no matter if I disappoint my father.
Yeah.
Now he's trying. Now he's like, okay, like, I want to be there for you, Dad. I want to help you out. And he has that maturity to actually accomplish some of those things. But the difference is he also knows right from wrong, because from the previous season, he's seen bad people, the people that Dr. Wu worked with, the bad poachers from season 2. He's seen all of that. And here he is seeing his father doing the same things. And you can tell he's not, it doesn't sit well with him throughout those moments. Sarah, do you want to kind of go into that a little bit of like seeing those? I loved that they played that through his emotions, even through animation, right? Like, you could see that there was conflict going throughout.
Oh, absolutely. You could definitely tell, and just like his body language and his facial expressions, that he always had that inkling of feeling like what they were doing was wrong, but he still wants to be the man or the son that his father wanted him to be, like in his mind. And the more and more they go into how deep he goes down the rabbit hole with his dad and what his dad's doing for this whole process of the dinosaur fights and putting the chips in their brain, he starts to realize that it's just not right. I mean, even with Toro, he's still like walking around with him. You see him look up at him a couple times throughout the show, just like sad, because he knows that he shouldn't be controlling him.
Mm-hmm. So throughout this whole point in the show, there hasn't been really a connection with what's going on in the live action world, you know, the cinematic world of Jurassic World. But what kind of helps push this side story, this quest along, is the big meeting that Kenji's father is having with some investors. One of them happening to work with Biosyn, the one that Lewis Dodson is in charge of. And I feel like this was a portion where they could have maybe done a little better with connecting it. Like, I think the woman they had, I'm spacing what her character's name was for the show. But I think they could have had the lady from Jurassic World Dominion, who was kind of doing Lewis Dodson's bidding during that time. And they didn't have to kill her off. I felt like her death was kind of unnecessary. You know, if anything, it kind of just showed how cold Lewis Dodson is that he just kind of shrugs it off, you know, like, oh, that kind of worked out for me anyways, you know, when she tries to betray him.
Right.
But to me, it seems like this would have been maybe a good opportunity to have someone from Jurassic World Dominion, maybe a character who is very interesting, like that one lady in white who had the Atrociraptors. What's that?
The Black Market lady.
Yeah, the Black Market lady. it would have been interesting to maybe have her in that role to kind of give us some background on her character. But was it needed? I don't think it was. But like, it's, for me personally, I think it would have been cooler. Would you agree with that? Did you feel like, or were you just like, this is fine, this works?
I mean, I think it worked the way that they did it, but I also think they could have played it the other way, where they had the other lady in this. That might have made a little bit more sense with how she goes, gets into the black market dealing with dinosaurs and stuff like that later in the Dominion movie. But I think, as this other character in the show betrays Dodson and you see her running away with the backpack and she calls somebody, I've always been curious to who she calls, whether it's Lockwood or if it's...
Yeah, they don't really quite go into that, right? When she does call the person that she's betraying Dodson with, the other guy, when she's trying to take some of the other things for this other company. I have a feeling that it would make sense if it was Mills who was working for the Lockwood estate. But I'm not entirely sure on that either. Now, one thing, as you know, this was a tough scene from season 4 for me personally when we had to deal with this. But seeing a dinosaur control, they did it to Firecracker, the Brachiosaurus infant, when they first controlled the dinosaur to stop and not move. It was a very unsettling scene and just kind of showed how much, how just awful of a character Cash is. Here they're doing this presentation with all the investors, and they have now these like Game Boy controllers not Game Boy controllers, like PlayStation controllers to control the dinosaurs, move where they want them to, roar when they want them to, bite when they want them to, all that stuff, complete control over these dinosaurs. And it's a very intense scene, because clearly, like, obviously Darius is not going to be behind that, but Kenji's kind of going along with it. And of course, we know with the Camp Cretaceous fam, they're not going to allow anyone to control the dinosaurs. They believe they should be free, as they've, done throughout the entire show. This is where things kind of get a little crazy. Of course, I always love when anyone tries to control Mother Nature in these types of films. It never works out. Nature tends to break free. And of course, a lot of the investors, they don't make it. A lot of the investors don't, except for the one that works with Biosim. But I love, more importantly, Sarah, as you kind of mentioned, a certain character finally met his demise
via Velociraptor.
Via Velociraptor, very worthy, right? Cash finally is gone. He is eaten by all the Velociraptors. A worthy end to him. Well, I don't know if he deserves even that kind of courtesy, because that's kind of a cool thing to put on your tombstone, eaten by Velociraptors. But of course he's gone, and obviously the whole event for Kenji's dad is ruined, but that's where he finds out that Biosin is still interested, but they have to go to Isa Nublar to pick up all the, I believe it's a dinosaur DNA, some extra dinosaurs, and even meet with Dodson himself, which it was awesome. Another connection that we got was to see Lewis Dodson
and
in the show.
Campbell Scott. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, they did. It looked exactly like him too, didn't it?
It did.
and
then they go in and explain how he gets the canister, which is really cool.
It was really cool. I liked that. It was cool to see that he was the one to like get it, and that it would have such an impact for him. And that was one of the great Easter eggs of this show, with Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous season 5. Was seeing that old canister of Barbasol with all the dinosaur DNA that Dennis Nedry stole in the first Jurassic Park film. But I also love, in a way, because they finally had Dodson in this show, I still think one of my biggest gripes with Jurassic World's franchise in general was that he needed to be more involved. Do you agree with that?
I do, yeah. I think him being the big bad in the last movie was perfect, but I also think his character needed to show up more throughout the series.
I agree. And it just seemed like throughout even the few episodes that he was in for season 5, it just seems like this dude's a bad dude, like Lewis Dodson has like a twisted insane side to him that is very cold-hearted and very disconnected in a way. Especially because, I mean, constantly, and Kenji's dad's like providing him all these scenes. Like, yeah, we can get these little chips that control the dinosaurs. Here's proof with the Carnotaurus. And we got the dinosaur DNA, and he just like, you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna ask for a glass of milk, right? Like that's how Dotson was throughout this entire thing for the time that he was in it. And of course, while the camp fam has been locked away by Kenji's doing, this is the one kind of like silliness. Like, here you have a whole bunch of Brads that are guarding this island with the kids locked up. And he has the Brads like check in on the kids. I think, what was it, every 30 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was either every 30 minutes or every hour, something like that.
Something like that. And to me, it's like, why wouldn't you just have the Brad stay in there? It's not like a human where it has feelings or gets tired or bored, but plot.
Yeah, of course.
You got to have some reason why the kids can break out. And I love that, like, when the kids do finally break out of, their cell, their holding cell, that they just kind of like destroy all of Kenji's dad's plans. They shut down the Brads. They change the passwords and all that stuff so he can't get back into the system. They just really make his life one of those scenes where you're just like, wow, I could imagine that. I could imagine just like seeing the camera and being like, yep, the kids broke out. Everything's ruined. That's where I say it's almost silly that he even allowed for that opportunity. But we did get a new dinosaur, which was great, the Nothosaurus, which is kind of like I guess you could say it's kind of like a monitor lizard in a way, like a giant monitor lizard. It was like a Komodo dragon in a sense, and that was a kind of a cool, spooky scene that they did, which also kind of led to the next big Easter egg, because this mean looking lizard dinosaur thing who was wreaking havoc in the basements, basically in the sewers near the geothermal energy source that they were having. Obviously things go wrong and it starts creating these earthquakes and tremors that were so strong and powerful that they could feel the effects.
The other island.
Yeah, they could feel all the way to Isla Nublar, which makes me wonder if that's what set off the volcano. If that's what set off the volcano in Fallen Kingdom. What do you think about that, Sarah? Like, do you think that's probably, they didn't quite say like, oh yeah, that's volcano's now active at Isla Nublar, but it kind of seemed like that's something that could
put two and two together. I think you're right. I think over time, if the core is regularly not maintained, then absolutely it's tremors and everything could definitely set off that volcano.
Yeah. As Rexy Rex says, I think Cash should have had a way more gruesome death, like the being killed by the Chads and Brads. Also, I did like Dotson, especially when he picked up the Barbasol can. Yeah, that was a cool moment. And I agree with you. It was, you kind of wanted more of a gruesome death for Cash, but as Sarah and I kept saying throughout the show, kid show.
Yeah.
Anytime someone got eaten, they constantly
they cut away,
yep. or like
they would come back and there'd be no blood.
No
and we're
blood
like,
on the T-Rex's mouth. It was always kind of funny. I think throughout the show we just kept looking at each other anytime those moments happened. Kid show.
Yeah.
But hey, it makes sense. I get it though. Yeah, for as bad as a dude he was, it would have been nice to see him kind of get what he deserves. And I kind of like the idea of that if the Brads were the one that took him down, kind of the Frankenstein monster thing, killed by your own creation. That's kind of a cool concept. I kind of dig that. That's a good one, Rexy Rex. But of course, now that the camp fan has caused a bit of a problem, they did do some good stuff though. While Kenji and his dad were away, they prepared for their return at some point, with a good plan, but they also created a watering hole for the dinosaurs, which was really cool. They saw that worked on Isla Nublar as the kind of the safe place to bring all the dinosaurs. And it was just a very nice little scene with all that. So that I really appreciate. But obviously now that they're getting all these earthquakes and the dinosaurs are going crazy, they got to stop whatever this thing that is shaking shaking the island. And it's kind of crazy with that entire scene. It gets a little scary with all the smoke, the poisonous gas that's being released, but you always know Camp Van's going to come out on top. But of course, it kind of happens at the worst timing. You know, that's when Sammy and Yaz get together finally as a couple, but also Kenji's father and Kenji are back on their way to the island. But not without leaving Dr. May Turner there on Isla Nublar. She kind of escaped, basically, and they thought, oh, if she's left on the island, she would be dead. But no, there was another person, or I should say group, there to help them out with Kenji. Not Kenji. Darius's brother, Brandon, and the camp counselors.
Yep.
Which was cool.
Brandon and I do like that they brought the camp counselors back. That is super cool. I feel like I wanted them to be more in the show that last season, especially when they teased towards like the end, like Brand had connected with them because he got that one call from Darius. I would have liked them to be more involved in the show instead of just showing up there at the end.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what more they could have done with them without like taking away from the story of the main cast, you know, like
right.
If they were very involved, like then you would have been creating like an entire new subplot of, I don't know, like where they're trying to survive on Isla Nublar, you know, then you're just kind of rehashing the same thing that we've kind of already seen. So I'm okay that they didn't spend too much time on them. It was kind of, in a way, they were kind of like the nostalgic scene, like where the main cast has been, and kind of having those memories of like, oh, here was Camp Cretaceous, and the tree house basically that they built was super, super cool. Yeah. But Rexy Rex says, I did really like the Nothosaurus, as it was like the saber-toothed tiger, where it's a new non-dinosaur threat. Exactly, yeah. What I really wish, though, was that there was at least one more new species, but it's fine. Yeah, it would have been nice if there was some more new dinosaurs. If anything, it just kind of goes to show that this island that Cash and Kenji's father had isn't like stocked with dinosaurs yet. I'm kind of surprised they haven't like brought over more creatures.
Right.
But maybe they were still in the process of trying to get all that done. It seems like they were getting ahead of themselves. So I'm sure they grabbed a couple. They got the Spinosaurus, a couple of T-Rexes, and they're like, we're good.
Right.
So yeah, I hear what you're saying though, Rexy Rex. That's a good point though. So obviously Dr. May Turner, she finds the other group, and they're kind of basically creating a smooth transition of saying how's the main cast going to be rescued, basically, you know,
right.
like, because obviously May Turner's going to know where the kids are at. So it was cool that they set that up very easily, very smoothly. I appreciated that. But of course we get back to the island that the kids are on, and Kenji's dad is not happy. He realizes the kids they've messed up a lot, so might as well time to go hardcore and try to make a stand against these kids. But the kids have everything planned well. But one thing that was kind of hard in a way to watch was when Bumpy is taken and is mind controlled, and you can tell this is not going to sit well with Ben in the cast. I guess here's one thing, Sarah, that we haven't really discussed yet when it comes to this season. How do you feel like the Camp family reacted, and how they were dealing with the conflict that Kenji let them down, that Kenji was controlling dinosaurs? He was doing it to be a part of his dad's, good graces, I guess you could say. Do you think they played enough into that, of how each member of that team was feeling?
I think so. I mean, they portrayed like the complete betrayal that Brooklyn and Darius felt. I mean, you could tell definitely like Darius and Kenji were kind of becoming really good friends, and then Brooklyn and Kenji were together. And it kind of got to the point where like Brooklyn and Darius started to lean on each other because they felt the betrayal worst out of everybody else. Yeah. I definitely think that they did that story plotline pretty well, I think. Like what I said earlier, though, I feel like Brooklyn was too quick to take Kenji back.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, right? Like and that was kind of the beauty of watching everyone deal with that same situation in a different way based off their personalities. Like, clearly Brooklyn is going to want to she's gonna want to try to find the good in Kenji because she likes him, you know. She's
right. I mean, she defended him from the very beginning until she saw him controlling Toro,
yeah,
which I think kind of solidified that for her.
Yeah, which was great because I think that was an important moment for her to kind of get onto everyone else's level, where not in a way that like Kenji's dead to them, but like Kenji's part of the bad side now, you know, to create that conflict. And I love that Sammy, everyone, like I said, had their personality went into that conflict. Like Sammy was very much like, oh no, but Kenji's good and he's bad. That was terrible what he did. And Yaz is very much like, no, Kenji's against us now. He sided with his father rather than us. And Ben obviously gets really pissed when Bumpy is taken.
Oh yeah.
And I like that Darius, he's conflicted, but he's trying to, because he's kind of the unofficial leader of the group, he's constantly trying to just keep pushing forward. He's trying to stay in control, stay in the mindset, stay focused on what the mission is, which is to save the dinosaurs, essentially, right? Save them from Kenji's father. And in a way, because these horrible things are happening to the dinosaurs, he's finding comfort in spending time with the dinosaurs, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was kind of crazy. Like, right? Like when you saw Darius, like, communicating with the Tyrannosaurus Rex,
right? Like that's
iPad.
Darius connected with the Rexes, I think, more than anybody else, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, can you imagine that? It's kind of like that same where, like in Jurassic World Dominion, where Alan Grant looks at Owen Grady, he's like, "You trained raptors, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's cool." Well, Darius over here is like, "Yeah, and I talked to T-Rexes." You know, like that's a very just kind of like a cool story, I imagine. But it made sense that it was Darius who would kind of find solace in dinosaurs and spending time with them and helping them. Which was very, very cool. But I loved the interaction that him and Brooklyn had about Kenji, because she's like, I need you, dude. Like, I need you to like tell me, like, basically it's going to be okay. And in a way, she was kind of working out her own problems by talking, and he did what she needed in a way too, by just listening to her, which just shows their great friendship.
Right.
And how they both kind of understand Kenji, like, they understand Kenji's kind of in a crappy place, right? Like they don't know if they can trust him again, but at the same time, his father is the bad one, right? Like his father is the one that's doing this. But if Kenji's going to side with him, then they're kind of at this like agreement that like the dinosaurs come first, you know, which was kind of crazy. So Sarah, obviously with any big epic final season, you need stuff to kind of propel it forward a bit. But obviously, how did you feel with Ben being kind of the one to kind of bring Kenji back into the fold?
I do think that just shows an immense character growth.
Yeah, because do you think Ben before would have been like, no, you're done, you're dead to me, Kenji?
You're dead to me. No, I don't think so. I think before, Ben didn't really want any kind of relationship with any of the campers. He was very much just there. I think his parents put him there because he needed to be, not stuck in his room the whole time. You know what I mean? Like kind of similar to Darius's situation, but it was very much like Ben needed to explore, and he definitely did that. He found himself and connected with these people, but as more of a like, I wouldn't say he was the glue that held them together, but he was definitely there as like because he listened to Yaz, and then he was listening to Sammy, and he was just there to be a good friend, and which I think was kind of perfect to watch his character growth from where he started to being the one that brings Kenji back into the fold.
Yeah, and honestly, this is where I say, like, some people, out of curiosity, was this one of those moments where you felt like it went a little too fast, like how the group kind of just accepted him back in?
A little bit. I mean, I do think that it was good that they made Darius more of a, you have to earn my trust back, because I mean, that's how it would be with any kind of close friendship like that. You feel that betrayal and you don't just immediately like, oh, they're back. I think just like the last 4 or 5 episodes of the whole season just happened really fast, and I think they could have done more with the story, but I get it in terms of like they had a limited number of episodes. But I do think that it was really cool. The story was good. I felt like I could have had more story, if that makes sense.
This was one part that I heard a lot of people had issues with, of how like quickly the group was like willing to accept him back in. But it was like, in a way, Ben may have been one of the best people to handle that situation, because Kenji's obviously like, when he saw Bumpy was being taken by his father, like, I think that was really the moment for him where he was like, all right, this has gone too far, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no longer on your team.
Yeah.
And plus, like, his father lied to him again. And I think he truly saw that, like, for once, like, he requested his dad to do something that really meant something to him, and his dad didn't listen. But the fact that, like, he went up to Ben and was like, here, dude, like, I'm here to help you. Obviously Ben has the initial reaction that we would all expect from that moment, but I think Ben obviously Bumpy is like important to Ben, you know, like, right. So, and he can't do it on his own. And I think the fact that Kenji is willing to go out of his way to help Bumpy was enough to tell Ben that Kenji's back. The Kenji they all know is back.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think if Kenji just walks up to the group and says, hey, I was wrong, take me back, I don't think no one does that. But I think the fact that Kenji helped Ben get Bumpy back, and
right, like actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, and that
like
Ben is there to be like, you know, hey, no, Kenji helped. You know, Kenji brought him, you know, and Bumpy back. I think people trust at that time Ben probably more than Kenji, and if Ben says Kenji's good, then okay, right. But we'll keep an eye on it, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it was important that Ben was there to kind of give Kenji what's the word I'm looking for? Not leverage, but like anyways,
the backing,
the trust,
like he backed
the
him
backing.
Up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The backing, not quite the word I was looking for, but the backing that he would need for people to start bringing him in again. But of course, you know, Brooklyn and Darius they're definitely probably the most hurt. Yeah. From what Kenji has done. But Kenji, I love that Kenji kind of even takes a moment and says to Darius, like, dude, I'm not going to abandon you again. I'm not going to abandon these dinosaurs. I got your back. Like, what do you need? So that was like very touching. But of course, like I said earlier, every big finale season has to have like a big battle, right? Some huge thing at the end. So of course, Kenji's father has all of the Spinosaurus and the Carnotaurus, the Baryonyx, and I think the Dimetrodon, sorry, I think it is what it is. Dimorphodon, I think it's actually Dimorphodon, which is the flying one. Spacing that at the moment. You know, lining up to take down the kids. And like, once again, like his father's just crazy. Like, can you imagine that? Like, yes, I'm going to pay you to have these dinosaurs eat these children.
Yep.
No, don't worry. Everyone thinks they're dead anyway, so we'll get away with it. But I guess my son will respect me after, you know, his mindset. He's kind of gone at that point, you know, like Kenji's father's just kind of crazy.
Right. Especially when you just see him start to like, well, you better find those kids because you're just chasing them all over the island. And then he hits the desk. We're all like, yep, he's snapped. He's lost it.
Right. Yeah. But more importantly, probably one of the coolest things, Sarah, was that we knew once we heard the Spinosaurus was going to show up in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the next question was going to be, okay, is there a T-Rex there? And are we going to get the rematch?
T-Rex fight. Yep.
Yeah. Are we going to get the rematch from Jurassic Park 3? And we did get the rematch. What did you think of the fight between the T-Rex and Spino?
I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean, you can't ask for a better dinosaur fight than that.
All right, totally right. I mean, it's the Clash of the Titans,
right.
And the fact that little Edie was kind of like in the ruts, like being ganged up on by all the other dinosaurs, and you know it's not going to go well for little Edie. And I love that, you know, Mama Dinosaur like comes in and has this epic battle with the Spinosaurus, but they kind of confirmed what we kind of already know. At least, like, I mean, we do know, like, in real life, scientifically, the Spinosaurus probably would have never gotten a fight with T-Rex because they didn't live in that same time period or, you know, same place as each other. But even the Spinosaurus was more of like a swamp creature than it was, you know, the kind of the violent villain of a dinosaur that it is in Jurassic Park 3. It probably would never be able to really go up against a T-Rex. But in this case, with the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, we kind of know who the big bad is, right? Like, who's going to win that fight, the T-Rex or the Spinosaurus? And of course, Spinosaurus wins again, but Cash is going to kind of use the T-Rex as leverage against the kids, who are going to try to make their final stand. Sarah, another scene that I thought was really great with Kenji's dad was his scene with Sammy, when she tries to hide Firecracker in that other room. What did you think about that manipulation tactic that he tried with her there to get the password that the kids changed to control the whole island?
I think it really showed his true colors, and just like you really hate him. Like, you really hate his character, because he's just so much of a villain that he's willing to manipulate a child, and like finally reveals that he's the one that gave the order for them to go to her family and her farm and like everything like that. And I do like that she kind of has this turn of heart that, no, I know my camp family is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And screw you, dude. Like, no, I'm not going to give you the password.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a crazy scene. But I loved it once again, because like it was just proof, right, of like why he's so good at manipulating people. He's pulling the weakness of saying like,
right.
Yeah, like, your family's, you're going to give it up. But I think it was a wonderful scene in terms of Sammy's growth, because like this was like the moment, right, that everyone's having their chance to shine. Like, Yaz really grew because she allowed someone to kind of be a part of her life and to kind of open herself up to Sammy. Ben obviously has had growth in the sense that he could get dirty. He can be a wild child now and do some, I mean, he's confident, he's strong, and he's willing to be a go-getter. Darius has just become a really great leader, and Brooklyn obviously has had her growth of not having really a care in like what people think of her, but just kind of being herself. And then here you have Sammy, she wants everyone to like her. She kind of, she wants to make sure everyone's okay. And she's kind of easy manipulative, to be manipulated.
Right.
But she doesn't allow it.
And she's no longer naive anymore. She's a very confident person now. Yeah.
To the point where she's able to tell Kenji's dad off, be like, no, like, I know what you're doing, bro. I'm not going to help you. And to bust away from him, which was such a great scene. But of course, as it seems like things are going down for the worst for the Camp Cretaceous fam, all of a sudden that alarm starts to go off about, the island's going to start shaking, the gas is rising, and, they tell them like, yeah, the geothermal power generator got busted while you were gone, and it's not looking good. And I love that Kenji's dad is like, yeah, goodbye. I'm not going to help you guys out with that. As Rex corrects me here, Dimorphodon. See, I always mess up Dimorphodon and Dimetrodon together because they're so close. But yeah, Dimorphodon is the small pterosaurus. Yeah, thank you for that. And the large mammal-like lizard, with the sail on his back. Yep, cool. Thank you, sir. I love that Kenji's dad was kind of like, what, there's poisonous gas? Like, I'm out of here. And like, he doesn't even like, it's not one of those things where he like grabs his son. He's just already on his way.
Right.
Out.
He just starts booking it.
Yeah. He's just like, goodbye. You're on your own, son.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the plane, he's like, okay, son, like, get on with me. I guess you're behind me.
Right.
Like, you could just tell he like never truly cared about his son. And I think that's where Kenji was really able to kind of be like, yeah, man, like, you didn't have anyone come and try to find me. You didn't do any of that. And he kind of just sees for what his dad truly is, which is just in it for himself. Right. And it kind of comes to that conclusion where Kenji's dad leaves, but the Camp Cretaceous family set up it was a trick. They made it look like the planet was basically about to blow up.
The
just
island.
To get, and now here the dinosaurs are free. They accomplished their goals, essentially, right? They destroyed the controllers and the chips that the dinosaurs had. And pretty much the day is saved, right? But of course, as we must know, like, how did they get rescued? Well, it's Brandon and the old camp counselors are able to find them. And it's a really touching, moving scene to see them kind of all back together, reunion again. And I loved the fact that the group was when they finally, oh, of course my light just fell.
Oh.
It's live, people. So oh my gosh. So yeah, so what did you think, Sarah? They finally back. Brandon is finally there to rescue his little brother Darius, and everyone's heading home. Was it kind of the touching ending scene as that you were hoping for?
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely, storybook. Brothers meet there at the end with their sunset, and the sunset's lighting them up, and it's just very I teared up. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too. I started tearing up because it's like, oh no, clearly we're coming to the end of this. This is gonna be the end of Camp Cretaceous,
right? And then all the kids with their families at the end too. That was just like a tearjerker moment, super emotional. But I love that. The one thing I do love is that Kenji was kind of off to the side because his mom is. I think in the story his mom is dead. And his dad is now in jail, so he's kind of like, well, what do I do now with my life? And then Darius's family takes him, and I thought that was kind of an awesome,
I think that is how
awesome
it's. That was such a. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, it's good.
I was just gonna say that was such a beautiful scene. I did not expect that. I was kind of expecting I was thinking Kenji's probably old enough to where he could just kind of do his own thing. He clearly has enough money to live out his life fine. And the fact that he was the one that called the police to arrest his father, I think was extremely important. And the fact that there's kind of the reconciliation with him in Brooklyn. But it was very sweet to see Darius kind of tell his mom, he needs a home, he's been through a lot, and that she was just so willing to accept him in. And I loved that, Sammy and, Yaz's parents, they were just instantly oh, I love this. They're adorable. And you could tell they all had kind of the similar personalities. You could tell who was parents and who was the kids, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Based off the quick little scenes that we finally had with them. But you're thinking this is the end. This is the end of Camp Cretaceous. What happens next? How do they handle the world of Jurassic World Dominion? Well, fear not, ladies and gentlemen. We did get that scene. Apparently Darius does TED Talks, and he's very popular.
Which would totally make sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, but he's a big dinosaur nut, so that's pretty cool. Kenji's obviously living with him at his home now. But Brooklyn and first off, Sammy and Yaz seem to be hanging out on the ranch together, still dating after some time. How long would you say it's been, Sarah? Maybe another year?
I would probably say maybe 2 years.
It definitely
based off
feels
of
like that.
their growth. I mean, I think when they left the island, they were 16, 17? Would you say?
Well, I think Darius was 13, so they're probably about 15 or 16 now, I think.
Yeah, I think 16 would probably make sense. I don't know. I mean, based off of where they're at in their storylines, I feel like they'd be older because Yaz was talking about college programs. So I think they're maybe seniors in high school now.
Could be.
So that would make sense, especially with the way that Darius has grown up too. But yeah, I think it's definitely cool that they kept the storyline going and that Brooklyn is now become a sleuth, basically a junior detective kind of almost, and then she and Kenji are still kind of together. You see there at the end that she said she's going to call Kenji later, and you see his little smirk
And of course they made this was kind of an interesting choice. Ben looks like Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo game. But it was really cool to see that you knew Ben probably couldn't be away from Bumpy long enough. Right. So the fact that he's still out there helping Bumpy, and this did kind of answer the question. A lot of people were wondering, is Bumpy or the Spinosaurus at the Biosyn Center in Jurassic World Dominion? And based off that ending scene, I don't believe so, because I think Kenji's been keeping the dinosaurs on that Manticore Island. Because they're still feeding them with the meat that Sammy's family is providing. So it sounds like that's probably Bumpy was probably never in Jurassic World Dominion, like some of us were hoping to see. but I was okay with that. I was okay to know that Bumpy's okay. She was on Isa Nublar, Firecracker's okay. So are the two T-Rexes. But of course, as you mentioned, Sarah, Brooklyn has become a bit of a detective reporter now, which makes sense for her, being the way that she was in the beginning of the show. But she mentions, to kind of bring it all full circle with Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion, she mentions that there's a rumor going around that there were dinosaurs, running wild and released from the Lockwood estate. And that she was wondering if Darius has seen anything yet, because he lives in California too.
Right.
Well, hasn't seen anything yet, but once again, we get another great little Easter egg of the impact tremors with the water glass, hearing that sound, that classic Jurassic Park sound. And what do you know? Darius sees a Brachiosaurus in his backyard. And I love, rather than being a look of fear on his face, he smiles.
Right.
What do you think is going through his mind at that moment?
I think he's excited that that's going to become like them living with dinosaurs, because I think that like you've had so much action in a short period of time, and then you go back to like living your normal life. You feel a lack of purpose almost, because you're just bored. Like there's no running from dinosaurs. You just go back to your normal life, and it's like there's no transition period. So I think for him to see, he was the one most excited about the dinosaurs, and I think it's a great way for him to, he feels connected to his dad the most, I think, when he's near the dinosaurs too.
That's a wonderful point. And I think that's honestly probably the truth of it. The fact that I can't imagine, you go through that life where it's not school anymore. It's dinosaurs. You're trying to survive, but in a way they did more than survive. They really kind of enjoyed themselves. It was like a long educational survival camping trip, and now you're back to the real world, and people know you as the Nublar 6, and you're kind of just trying to get back to normalcy. That I don't know if it could ever feel normal, because normal for them for a while was dinosaurs being there when you wake up. Now he would have had a different reaction if it was not a Brachiosaurus, but I think anytime someone sees a Brachiosaurus, how can you not smile and be happy? So that is where Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous series ends, with the reveal that dinosaurs are now part of our world, and it is going to be truly a Jurassic World. Sarah, a great ending. How did you feel about everything that has happened from where we were season 1 and season 5? Was this show satisfying?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely satisfied. I could always go with, I could do more. Like, I want more, because it was so satisfying. Just keep going forever. But I think the show was done very well, and I'm very happy with where it started and where it ended.
Yeah. I just think it was just a very lovely show. It was a nice show about friendships and growth, from innocence to adulthood, and becoming your own person. It was just a very well done show. The writers did a great job. Is there more that I want? Absolutely. I would love for them to do more. I would love more. Sarah knows I teared up at the end of Jurassic World Dominion, because I was like, damn, this is the end. This is the epic conclusion. And it's like, I don't want it to be the epic conclusion. I want more Jurassic World. I want more dinosaurs. I want more spin-offs. Because as Sarah was laughing at me the other day, I watched all the Jurassic World films and the Jurassic Park films, and then I did the Camp Cretaceous show, and I watched Dinotopia. I watched the Disney Dinosaurs film.
Yep, you went on a little bit of a dinosaur binge.
Went on a dinosaur binge because that's how I was as a kid, loving dinosaurs and just wanting more dinosaur content. Well, now I'm at the point where okay, there's no more good dinosaur content out there. I would have to start pulling out the silly B movies with terrible CGI and just obnoxious acting to watch more dinosaur content. And so that for me, it's where could we potentially go here? But before we get to that, Sarah, what would you rate Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous?
I would say it's probably
Season
an
5.
8.6 for me.
8.6.
Yeah.
Okay.
8.6, 8.7. I mean, I think it was really, really done really well, but I do think that there were not plot holes per se, but I think, again, like towards the end, I feel like it was rushed.
Okay. What were some of those plot holes that you wish could have been fixed?
Oh no, like I don't think there were plot holes. I think it was just kind of rushed. Like,
Okay.
I wish we could have seen a little bit more of the in between, them coming home and them where they're at the very end of the show, the new bar 6.
Yeah.
Like what happens to Kenji's dad and like how more of the storyline of how Brand, Darius's brother, connects with the camp counselors and how they get onto the island and how they, like, you know, May finds them and then they discover they need to go to the other island to get the kids and just their like trip home.
Okay. And you gave it an 8.6, I think you said?
Yeah.
That's pretty good score. That's honestly, I was thinking like 8.6, 8.7, 8, maybe an 8.8.
Yeah.
I think my only issues were I feel like while it was really good, there was really touching moments and some great dinosaur scenes, and it kept the focus on the dinosaurs better than season 4 did. For me, it was I think there was possibilities and opportunities to make it connect more to the Jurassic World cinematic franchise, to do even more, to have Dodson really a part of it. Hell, maybe even have Mills from Fallen Kingdom have an appearance or some, I mean, other than just hearing about the Lockwood estate. There was some moments throughout this season where I just feel like we could have tweaked a few things to just give it a little extra of like, oh yeah, that's from Jurassic World Dominion or something like that. But as it stands on its own, I loved it. Thought it was a really good show, emotional, beautiful scenes, great action, and plus dinosaurs. You can't go wrong with dinosaurs. Let's see what our chat is saying here. Let's see. Missed a few. La 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 la. Okay. As Oracle, so Eric says, I still believe that more episodes will come. We'll actually talk about that in just a moment. Oracle says, I hope so. Yeah, me too. Batwoman, I would be down for more shows. Yeah. Oracle says they probably have missed the dinosaurs. Yeah, I agree. Trevor H says I could see that. Batwoman says, I love the show. I will miss it. Super Bro Corey says, leave them wanting more. In a way, maybe that's what the goal was, right? To see if people would be demanding more Jurassic World content. Eric Patterson says, definitely want more of this show. Okay. The Rexy Rex says, I'm really happy that season 5 didn't just go even further down the dino battle sci-fi theme from season 4 and expanded more on the campers themselves and people actually caring about them. Oh yeah, totally. And I think that's what the issue with season 4 was, is it kind of got away from what makes Jurassic Park and Jurassic World great. It's not so much the dinosaur battle, but it's people. It's the people that are living in a dinosaur world. And trying to, the growth that they have in trying to survive that. But not only that, I love how there's the beauty of dinosaurs, and then there's also kind of the scary part of dinosaurs, right? But it's all just one big giant circle of life. But great point. And then as Retro Nerd Girl says, I really enjoyed this review. I learned a lot about the show, and I might steal some time to see the series for myself. If you do it, Retro Nerd Girl, text me. You'll have to let me know what you think. I'm really curious. I actually think it was a very good show. If anything, I'm surprised Universal hasn't done more spin-off shows of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Oracle's Clock Tower says 8.8. Rexy Rex says Dominion was honestly one of the best Jurassic movies. A thrilling end to a thrilling start. I agree. It was definitely a really good film. I can't wait to see the director's cut because I think it will fix a few issues I had with the film. Like I think the prologue should have been in that film for the ending with the T-Rex scene at the end. It would have made it all the more better. But I can't wait to see the director's cut. But I did love Jurassic World Dominion. Batwoman says 8.6. Butler says 9.3. Okay, you really loved it. Eric Patterson said 8.9. Okay, 8.8 out of 10. 89 for Restore Cyber Sky. 91. And the Rexy Rex says a solid 8 for me. I'd rate them like this: the worst is season 4, then season 1, then season 2, then season 5, and the best being season 3. Oh wow, very interesting. I think I'm flipped with
season 5 and 3.
Well, I think season 3 is the best without question. Season 3 was amazing. That was the one with the Scorpius Rex.
That's right.
That was just such a cool creature, and the connection to the beginning of Fallen Kingdom was so cool. I really loved that.
Yeah, I did like the twist at the end where there was 2 Scorpius Rex instead of 1.
Yeah. I would say for me, Sarah, it probably goes season 4 is the worst. And for me, when I say worst, like it's still like in the 7s for me. It's probably low 7s
ranked out of
for
all
me.
of them, right?
Yeah. But season 4 is the worst. Season 2, and it's like a close season 2 and season 1 are pretty close, but they're in the 8s. And then I would say season 5 and then season 3 is best.
Yeah. I would say that's probably similar to mine too.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where I'm about with it, because I love this show. I will definitely miss it. I'm sad that it's over. But Sarah, I like many people have been saying, like Eric, I don't think this is the end. I think they're clearly setting up a future setup for Jurassic World. I think
so too. I think they could go into the next, like if they wanted to make 3 more movies, I think they completely could. Like there's so much potential here if they made this cast this like main focus of the next movies and just went along with their storylines and how much they'll grow. And I think like with them having lived on the islands for so long, they could teach the rest of us how to live with dinosaurs.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I do agree with you. I think this cast could potentially be the future of the franchise. We already have a connection with them. You wouldn't have to build so much a story around them for people to like them, because people already do like them. Mm-hmm. But you can hit the ground running with them in the sense that I feel like where Jurassic World Dominion didn't, or at least where I hope future installments go, I want to see more of the in-between time with, Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion, when dinosaurs are roaming free and people aren't aware of it quite yet. I want to see that chaos. I want to see that, the dinosaur protection group and the dinosaur rangers, wildlife rangers trying to, form and trying to create those guidelines to protect dinosaurs in the park. I think a very cool series would be to follow, the dinosaur wildlife group and trying to stop poachers and try to help humans. I mean, I think that would just be a cool day-to-day show of what it would be like of trying to help humans coexist with dinosaurs and stop the black market stuff. I mean, there's a lot you could do there. Right. Absolutely. How about you, Sarah?
Oh, I would completely agree. I mean, I think, I said movies, but I think even now, though, thinking about it, a series would probably be better, because then you could see different stories each episode, and then like, especially you could go in and I could see these kids, like especially Brooklyn, going to stop the black market on dinosaurs.
Yeah, that could be cool. And the cast looks like their characters, so I think it would be easy to kind of have those actors play those characters. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see them back. And like I said, I really did enjoy what they did. That I think they could be the future of the cast or the future of the Jurassic World franchise. But I think prequels are going to be the way that they should. They for the next whatever they decide to do, TV
movies,
show or film.
Yeah.
I
think they could do prequel movies. I would love to see an after series for TV shows, but I think if they did movies, I would definitely love to see a prequel of like how John Hammond comes into the dinosaur world and the Lockwood estate and everything, and just like how all of that comes to be. Like
you would like to see how they build Jurassic Park, basically, like from the beginning.
Yeah, from the very beginning, and like how they find Dr. Wu and all those other people.
How they find the amber with the DNA, and how they maybe that could be so cool, Sarah. Like because that could even be in a way like a horror film in a way, and not so much horror that it gets to weigh what makes Jurassic Park great, but like I can't imagine that going perfect every time when they were trying to clone dinosaurs.
Right, like nobody just starts with a bunch of DNA and just immediately poops out a dinosaur.
Yeah, like I could see like maybe they would get some like really weird looking like dinosaurs who did not like form correctly, and you could have fun with that kind of that like craziness of, that's technically a T-Rex, but it has 3 arms, or something like that. You could do some crazy stuff like that. Now, maybe that gets to a place where like, that shouldn't be Jurassic World, but I don't know. That could be kind of fun. Oracle's Clock Tower says more prequel. Okay. The Rexy Rex says it would be crazy if even more movies are made, and the last one being the extinction of humanity. I want that too for like a future Jurassic World. Like there was a fan movie title that someone did called Jurassic World Extinction. And personally, I like that idea. I think the issue of why they will wait to go there for some time is because we kind of already did that with like Planet of the Apes with the recent Matt Reeves trilogy. Like you got like humans being extinct, and now it's a world roamed by apes. I think people would say that's too close, too similar. We've kind of already been there, but I would love to see that personally. You also said what I would love the most of a spin-off series is just random episodes of people dealing with dinosaurs in the wild. Exactly, that's kind of what I want as well. Trevor H says the prequels are the way to go. I would even like a Jurassic Park prequel. Probably kind of the idea of what you were thinking. Orc and Beans coming out crazy with the dinosaurs in space. No, you crazy, Fast and the Furious man, you. Fast and the Furious is already doing the obnoxious wildness. We'll let them have that. Chris says Jurassic Space Park. Oh my God.
Put a Jurassic Park on the moon.
It'll be called Jurassic Galaxy. Oh man. Well, guys, like some very great ideas that you have for future installments of Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like everyone really enjoyed the show, because I've heard a lot of like weird complaints, and like I feel like some people just try to find things to hate on stuff, and like yes, I get it, like being a critic you kind of have to like find things that you would tweak, and there's stuff I do have to tweak, but at the same time I have to sit down and go, did I enjoy it? As a fan, did I enjoy it? And as a fan, I enjoyed it. Sarah, as we kind of wrap this up, do you have any final statements?
Nope, I think we've said it all.
That's basically her saying like, I'm ready. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Please follow us on our social media pages. You can do on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at @the_bat channel. On Facebook, someone beat me to it, so it's @holybat_channel. But go ahead and follow us there to kind of communicate with us more. Sometimes we promote our shows, but other times I like to do fun or even just let you know what's going on in our personal lives. It's kind of just a cool, fun way to hang out and get to know you guys. So definitely follow us there. And if you haven't already, smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss an episode. It's always a blast. And when you guys show us those support with liking our videos and sharing them, it really does mean the world to us as we kind of build our audience and our community to even the Jurassic World community. We're mostly known for DC and Star Wars content, but I've always been a huge Jurassic World fan and Jurassic Park since I was a little boy. I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was growing up. But this is just, it's cool for me to kind of like share my passion of dinosaurs with you guys. But thank you so much. I am your host, Trey, with
Wonder Wife Sara.
And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you hopefully next week for our Prey watch parties that we're doing with Predator and eventually a Prey review. Have a good night, everyone.